Hello?
Did you take the stairs?
Yes, I did. How could you tell? Oh, gosh.
Why would you do something like silly?
Well, Sherry, she gets after me. I come upstairs. Puppy, she goes, you're out bad. You're out shaking. I says, tell me something I don't know.
She's not here though. I'd vouch for you. Yeah.
Hey, Gina.
Hey,
How are you?
Good.
She was going to say it.
John Wayne said to Terry Morgan in that last movie we made.
You never know by hand.
You saved a seat for me. I did. How are you? Hey. Hello.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
I say mention.
I have.
I've been up here all day.
Marty's got copies of his where they food.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got 12.
I get 107. That's what it is. Yes. Just coming in the morning, talk to Mike, he's right here. Here we go, I'm building that.
Be on the south side.
Inside, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'll be here. We're gonna be putting it right here for this one. You know, nothing, this one here. Three, four, one here. And that way off. But now, having moved the light, now, here, it's up here.
Still can plan.
Remember what you did.
Okay.
Do what?
You're recessed?
Yep, recess.
We are.
Yeah. By definition.
Feel like staying in recess. Go out.
Stay in.
Well, we'll go ahead and call the ARP task force meeting in session. We're piggybacking on with the commissioners at recess, so
Meeting back up.
okay, reconvene. So we'll start by our minutes from the July 6th meeting. At your discretion, they're not very long, so I'll go ahead and read it. July 6, 2021, Washington County ARP Task Force was called to order by David Moore. Washington County Commissioners was called to order by Commissioner Philip Marshall. Members in attendance were David Moore, Sherry Clem, Anita Temple, Walt Bush, Commissioner Philip Marshall, Todd and Rick Roberts, and Auditor Cara Stevenson. Town of Campbellsburg, Chris Boulay spoke on behalf of Campbellsburg Water. The town has built a building to store the chemicals in some of their equipment. They're requesting $36,200 to finish out the building by putting concrete floors, electric insulation, and lighting in the building. Town has approximately 350 town customers, 100 out of town customers. Sherry Clem made a motion to approve the request of $36,200 and pass it, but on the Commissioner's approval of funds. Motion was seconded by Anita Temple. Motion passed. Commissioner Roberts made a motion on behalf of the Commissioners to approve the request. Motion was seconded by Commissioner Ewing. Motion passed. Posey Township Water. Ryan Packwood and Paul Boyles presented the request for Posey Township Water Project. That would be on the Kansas Church Road, Morgan Lane, Posey Chapel Road. This project will add 10 to 13 more pounds of pressure per customer. Mr. Packwood and Mr. Morgan are not happy about the quote they currently have and would like to come back to the next meeting with a new quote. Next ARP meeting will be held August 2nd, 2022. With there being no further business, Sherry Clem made the motion to adjourn. Motion was seconded by Anita Temple. Motion passed. There was no further business. Commissioner Roberts made a motion to adjourn. Motion was seconded by Commissioner Ewing. Motion passed. So we'll knock out the A and Clem. So we don't want you to clean. So, and Sherry's name on that second to last paragraph. So let's strike the A. And then, is there any other additions or corrections to the minutes? If any, let them be known at this time. Otherwise, I entertain a motion to accept. Anita, I see a motion. Sherry, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carried. Minutes have been passed.
David, can I ask all three of you to pull your mics down?
Yes, you may, and we will.
Thank you.
Start right in with Washington County Food Bank. Art Ledgerwood is here. If you would be front and center here, state your name, who you're representing, and then present out. If you could come up to the microphone up here, Mark. We are being recorded, so it's better if they're closer to the mics.
My name is Mark Ledgerwood, and I've been working at the food bank for about 6 years now, I guess, and I'm currently the secretary on the board there. And as you see, I'm representing the food bank's request for an award of $20,000. I take it that everybody's got a copy of this in front of them now. There's two major issues that we wanted to take up. One was to add a retractable awning on the front of the building. And this would give us, as stated there, it would enable us to have shelter over the food products that we place out on the sidewalk for our customers. There is no room inside for all this, so it's a necessity to put it on the sidewalk. And it also gives the customer shelter from the weather as well. So that would be one thing that we wanted to make a purchase of. The second was we just discovered, just in the last few days, that probably need a new heating and air conditioning system. So we've added that to the list. And actually, this replaces one that I had on there before about working on the flooring in the building. So we've still got only got the two issues, but replace the second one with a heating and air conditioning system. I've given everybody a copy of the bids that we have so far on those two items. We've got one on the awning for $7,630, and we received one from Cooley for the heating and air conditioning that amounts to $8,934. We still anticipate getting more bids on both of these items, especially the awning, and we're working on that right now. But it will give you some idea of what the cost is, the approximate cost that we're fixing for the two things. I can also add that the food bank has stated in an earlier revision of this, the food bank is facing higher attendance from the public in the county as the months go along this year. I've given you a kind of a rundown on what the attendance has been as far as families go, per month, per year for the last 3.5 years. You can see back in early 2019 that attendance was pretty high. We were running into 500 to 600 families per month. And then as COVID, once COVID hit and the attendance started dropping down, you can see in 2021 we were back down into the 200, 300 range. Now it's starting to ramp up again, as you might expect, because of the, we've got to handle the COVID issue. People were starting to, a lot of people were feeling the pinch in their pocketbooks and high cost of goods and services and food now. So everybody's looking for a way to add more food on their table, obviously. So we expect these numbers to go up probably dramatically the rest of the year and beyond, who knows. But it's a problem for us, as it is for most people. The additional costs that we're facing for the things that we're buying, the meats and the staples that we buy to furnish to our customers. A lot of the cost for that is rising dramatically also. So we're seeing more and more money coming out of our pocketbook and out of our budget for those type items. So in a nutshell, that's basically why we're coming to you now and asking for money from this ARP fund.
As far as your funding, where does your funding come from?
Donations, awards from company, grants, that type of thing. We are a nonprofit organization, and all the money comes from donations or as for awards or grants that we might qualify for.
Okay. Any private businesses, ongoing contributors with you, or?
I can't say that for sure.
Okay.
I don't see the list every month. I don't know exactly where the money's coming from in terms of this company or that company or which individuals, but a lot of them are steady contributors. But I wouldn't say that those are businesses, probably more individuals.
Okay.
Or maybe local companies.
Questions for Mark?
So basically, at this time, do you have any other funds that are available to assist with the heating and air necessity or the awning? Is there any other sources you've gone to at this point in time to help that other than what's donated to you?
We had other folks and nobody else at this time.
You haven't at this time, okay.
Who owns the building that you are in?
The food bank does.
The food bank does?
Yes, they do.
Is it free and clear? It is.
Any other questions? Well, you know, the numbers don't surprise me. In fact, I'm surprised they're probably not a lot higher. And that the trend, well, it's being utilized and the rising cost of the food to supply is in there. I see this in every county. So the need's definitely there. I see this as a just cause to fund and to help them out. So I usually don't do this, but I'm going to make a motion from the chair to fund them the $20,000.
I only have one thing to say is that you are still going to get other quotes in reference to the heating and air and the awning before you make a decision to purchase anything out of $20,000 and save as much as you possibly can for the food.
We certainly are.
Okay, then I would second the motion.
Okay.
And I might add that, and I made note of this on the second page of the letter that I passed out, that any money that we have left over is going directly to purchase of food for the customer.
Yeah, I saw that. Mhm.
I would think that the heating and air and the awning company, because of what it's for, I would think they would give you a deal on that. I would expect that anyway.
I would certainly hope so, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't discuss it with this company, and to be quite honestly, the one I had the bid from, I doubt if we go with him, but I wanted somebody did.
Right. Yeah.
We've, I was talking to Maurice Godfrey, my buddy might be here, sitting right there, he couldn't make it, but he was going to contact some of his Amish friends or people who knew some Amish contractors that see if we can get a bid from them as well.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's a start.
Okay. Well, I mean, it gives us something to work with as far as cost, and then, like you said, anything that you save, going to go back into food, so.
I'll second.
Well, Anita.
Oh, Sherry did.
Yeah, because I did the motion, so she's second. So we have discussion, so we can take this to a vote. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So we'll turn it over to your discretion for the commissioners but the ARP have made a recommendation to fund the $20,000 to the food bank. Okay. Do you want to handle all this stuff a little bit later tonight? Okay. All right. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You want me to stick in?
You can, in there at the end of the meeting, the commissioners, if they want to go ahead and pursue what's been presented or previous one, we'll go ahead and conduct that business.
Okay.
The ARP committee, we recommended to them to approve, but that's still up to their discretion.
All right.
So you can stay, or we can just tell you later in their car and get a hold of you later.
Thank you.
How long is the meeting?
We try not to be that long, not 7, a little after.
I'll stick around.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what we got on the agenda here? Campbellsburg Park, Junior Fisher here. Go ahead and come front and center. For public record, go ahead and state your name, who you're representing, and then give us your proposal.
I'm Jeannie Combs, and this is Shanna Pittman. I'm representing the Campbellsburg Park and Rec. Shanna's president, I'm the secretary, and we have two members, Sue Bennett and Rob Batchelor, on the board. And I don't know who's got a copy. I only made one that I left at the office.
I think we've all got.
Okay. Because I was printing all this at home and it kept saying my toner was getting down because I printed all these pictures and I was afraid that so they run out of the seat. It's a, yes, you could probably just the top part.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
You may not have the pictures, do they? Okay. I have the pictures. You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I just took pictures kind of so you had a view of what our park looked like and things that we need to improve. So as you can see, I did talk to the representative of the playground equipment. I tried to get individual things that we could install ourselves because I was told by the things that we got up in town that it costs, whatever you pay for what you buy, if it's all these supplies and things, then the installation will cost the same thing, pretty much. So we knew we couldn't afford or we wouldn't ask for that much for the playground. But these are the three things that I picked for us. We may change that, but that's close to what we think we need. On the pictures, I showed a picture of those and also a picture of our playground, which is one set of swings that I think come from the school years ago. And then we had some spring, they're in the pictures way back, some little spring toys, and all of those, maybe one is okay, but I got all of them broke. And the large ones cracked all the way across, so we're going to have to take them down, remove them from the concrete and all. And then I picked the smaller climbing thing and this one slide that we could install ourselves. And the other thing was, there's a picture of our scores bench. We wanted to add a scores bench on the top field, which has none, and repair the existing one, which the roof, it's got a tin roof and it needs taken off and redone. We was going to lower it a little bit, and he estimated some of the new boards that had to be done and some fencing to put around that would keep kids from falling, and we wanted a gate so they wouldn't be going up there. And on that same estimate is, there's a bank that's pretty steep. It doesn't look as steep in the pictures I provided, but it is pretty steep to walk down to go to the concession stand and restrooms and to the lower field. You can go around it if you go all the way the other side and walk around, which I do sometimes when my knee was bothering me. So there is access, for anybody in a wheelchair to get up there. So we weren't going to have the steps made for that, because there is a way you can get around. But most people's up and down right there, and it's slick. When it's slick, I've wanted a long time to try to put steps into that bank. So he gave us an estimate on steps that are not real steep, but kind of a long landing, then another step with rails on that. The picture of there is a picture there of the existing scores bench, or platform, I guess you'd call it, that needs repaired. The steps are okay, but some of the boards around it need to be changed. And I think that was all I have on there. So it was the two estimates, from the BYO on the playground equipment, and then the sport bench and the steps to go in. We do have we have to put some gravel in. I put that in the cover, the letter here. Our lower outfield fences, there's erosion from the bank that comes from the other property, it's not ours. And it's kind of washing out the underneath the fence, so we need to, I didn't put that in here, but that's one of the things we have to do is put some gravel out on that outfield to stop that erosion. And there's the pictures of the upper field, we've had that fence put in on the outfield, which we did not have. And just a reminder that all of our stuff's done by donations or fundraisers. We don't get any tax money for that from the town. When we started that, we had said we wouldn't ask for tax money, from the Campbellsburg, put on anything. So I guess that's about it.
All right, Jeannie, last year, we submitted $10,000 in dollars.
It was this year.
It was this,
Yeah.
okay.
Or, no, we did get for the
Well, it
COVID.
was our first draw.
Yes.
Okay. And we're in the second part of our draw now. So has that money, have you done anything with that $10,000 as of yet?
Not yet. We're still in the process of running electric. We've just ordered scoreboards that NPP donated the money to buy scoreboards for each field. And we have to run electric to those. They'll be wireless, but you have to have electric, for it to light up. So, plus for lighting, we're using that to run electric to the lights we're getting donated lights. We've already got it donated, and poles from RMC.
All right.
They'll put lights on the upper field and the lower field. Lower field already has poles there to use.
So your season's already done, right?
Yes.
So is that work going to be done on those lights this fall?
We're hoping fall
You're
and
looking at
spring.
all this project.
We're looking at starting it this fall and hopefully getting it done by next spring.
So right now, you're asking for 22,596, which is the 3 bids or 3 categories
Yes.
that we see on page 2. I think it says a rough estimate been
Yes.
provided on 8,000 on the steps. Is there any specifications on those steps?
If there is, I don't know, but we can check that out, I guess.
All right.
We assumed, I was just thinking if it's not handicap accessible, that there wouldn't be, but I don't know who we even ask.
Well, of course, you're going to have railing too, whatever you have.
That was part of it. And we did ask if they're not steep. When we went up there and looked at it, Ed went up with Claude and I, and we wanted the steps to be longer, not just little, steep steps going down. They'll be cut out of the bank, but we want them kind of long, like you take a step or two before you go to the next one. So there won't be too high of steps for anybody.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of grandparents there, and that's hard to get down there and go to the restroom, and sometimes they got kids on both fields, but, of course the kids run down the banks and stuff, but if if you have a problem, a knee problem or anything, it's hard to get down there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, just the time I've been out there,
Yeah,
I'd almost just put the ramp in and be done with it, use the ramp as
yeah,
in there, because, your height is not that, so your grade, by the time you do a lot of fabrication, you could just.
maybe we could, yeah, it's pretty high, it's higher than thing, and we also have to put a drain underneath it, because that's where that drain ditch comes through. It don't look like one that, when you're looking at it, but when it rains and the water, it comes down through there.
Correct, yeah.
So I mean, I guess, we could, that's a thing to look at, and I don't know who to ask about the regulations for that.
ADA compliance. I probably got a name and a number up in
Okay.
my office that I could shoot to Anita, and then you could
Yeah.
hear from her if you're interested.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can find out.
Yeah. Is this something that you've ever considered, like doing in phases, or you just want to have it all done and
Well,
bang?
I mean, when we're doing each year what we can, it's took us a long time to get where we're at. I mean, I've been with it like, probably 40 years at least. And there's not much we can do. This gave us an opportunity to do more than we normally could. We've got,
Is your
money we saved
playground,
up is about gone.
is your playground over there, is that on grass, or do you have?
It's on grass, I guess.
All right. Any more questions for Jeannie? Jeannie, not to push it off, but I know since there's probably not going to be any, you've already got some funds to get started. I would like to see a little bit better plan on your steps in there in compliance for
Yeah.
ADA, just so that you won't be overwhelmed with the cost, because I mean, cost of concrete, you need to look at as far as what you, because there's a lot of other people that are coming over there to watch the grandkids play, so we need to have that available for that. But I would like for you to bring back probably some better figures on that at least.
Yeah.
And if you can pinpoint anything, you think these other costs on these playground equipment and as far as the announcer stand are pretty accurate right now?
The announcer stand, I believe we made it cheaper. I don't know, it sounds kind of high to me, but I know lumber's high, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I have a concern. I mean, I think this is wonderful, what you have done and all of this. I'm just not sure if I'm on board with it about the COVID stipulations that we are under with distributing these money funds and how this really applies to a COVID deficit issue that you might have had at the park, other than lack of attendance, I assume. And we do have to be very specific about the money that is given out. So, I mean, I appreciate everything that you've done. That's just my comments right now and my thoughts. But
Yeah, I didn't know the COVID part was part of it now.
Well, it is, and what you can do to tie it in with some figures back to 2019, because you were shut down 1 year, correct?
Yes.
So you've got that to show there. Any type of fundraisers that you weren't able to keep, the loss of revenue also helps as far as if you had some money revenues that didn't come in because of COVID, they're legitimate, all the way through.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I thought we already addressed that, so.
well, you did on the first, but this is still the same grant.
it's the same money.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So we're going back to that. I mean, it's a credit. It used to be a pasture field, with an old raggedy fence out there.
Yes, it was, I put in there, it was donated by Dr. Tower. Actually, that was the track for the Campbellsburg High School. And I was asking Claude about that bank, because I knew the track was right there. And I remember when I was young, seeing it, but I wasn't there.
Well, he's older too, so.
Yeah, but I lived away for about 5 years. And he said, well, that's the way the track was. You went uphill and around, and then you went downhill. And that was the track they had, and it was a cow pasture. The cows got moved out when they did track and cross-country. Dr. Tower provided that. And then he donated that then to the town. And, yeah. I wish I got a little more history on that, but I do know that, you know, he donated one that for the kids.
Well, I heard it was a big something up there in the cow pasture.
So yes, that's how we acquired the property. It was donated from the towers.
Well, if you would, we're going to table that for you, to give us some more information on
Okay.
it.
I will get
Is
it.
that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So the other stuff's not really feasible, you think?
No, I think that what you've got here, but it.
I mean, for playground equipment.
Well, you know, what you've been doing with your money, I'll go back this way, backwards with it. Your COVID has kept you from doing fundraisers like a lot of nonprofit groups have. And so you've had limited participation, you've had limited sponsorships, and then because of COVID.
Yes.
Now, those are legitimate things. Now, with this youth, as far as exercise, entertainment, you know, it's all mental type of thing as far as keeping us a little bit more stable, you might say, instead of what we've been through as being confined. And so those are legitimate. Your playground equipment, what you do it as far as, it's just the same as Lions Club or anybody else or Rotary in there. They have funds that they didn't have, that they contribute back into the community. But because of COVID, they were limited in their revenue resources. So I see you in the same instance, but you're doing another function for the community. So,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Getting all that, thank you so much. And thank you for what you have given us. Anyway.
Okay. Brian? Paul? Sarah, you representing Blue River?
Yeah.
Okay. After we do with them, we'll discuss
For the record, my name is Paul Horowitz, and I'm on the board of Posey Township Water Corporation. And this is Ryan Packwood. He is our #1 licensed water operator. I'll turn it over to him. He has all the figures.
Hey, Ron, can I get one of those packets that you have there? I don't know why, but, thank you.
As we spoke of last month, whenever we told you about the figures and fees that we come up with, basically on the front page here, we took that 900,000 and we knocked it down to 696,000. And the way we've done around that was just by going out, getting bids ourselves, and talking with, everything you see here had 3 bids on it. We had a different engineering firm come in and gave us a lot better bid. But the one thing that, as of this morning, talked to our lawyer, John Meade, and he said that we need to put the bid out, even though we have done all the bidding and it's all taken care of. But I don't know if that's one question that John advised us to go ahead and put a bid out. on the construction. So, I feel way better about the price and what we knocked out, and we got it down to where, I wanted to get it under 700,000, and we did. Now, if we had to put it out for bid, there's a 7,500 contingency that goes with that, with an engineering firm. So, with that put on there and having that would be what I come up with, basically 703,915.26. Through the lawyer, as I just said, that's kind of where we're at there as far as bidding that out. The only thing that I would run into here is on the material fee. This pipe, because it's oil-based, they're making this runs every 3 months. I have this price held right now to the 3rd week of August with what the price I have right now. I can't say up, down, where it's going to be 3 months from now. That's the only thing that I would hesitate about if you guys feel like we're a little part of this project, that could throw off everything because the pipe is the biggest cost of this project next to the construction fees.
Okay, so you basically reduced down about $200,000, which since, give me a narrative of your business structure. Are you a cooperative?
We are a co-op.
All right, and how many members do you have?
Right now, roughly 1,550.
Okay, and they are members of, because they have hooked on, so every year there is a membership fee. Do you have anything I don't know, I'm trying to think of the cooperative name of it. Do you pay dividends, or do you have a net on your balance sheet? Do you actually have a plus value of the company?
With our members, we have a one-time membership fee of $100. That's all they'll ever pay for a lifetime. And the membership is transferable if you move out. But for any new customer that doesn't have it, it's a one-time $100 membership fee.
Okay,
And we do not pay out dividends.
okay,
And that is, you can roll it forward from one customer to another. If they sell the property and this customer signs the sheet, you can roll it to the new owner.
so it's not necessarily to a name, but it's tied to the meter too.
Tied to the meter, and it's basically tied to the property.
Okay, all right, understood. This will not add any new water. This will just enhance the water pressure, correct?
No, this will add 2 miles of new line for 15, for basically 15 customers that we have had calls at. 3 of them, one of them was a poultry building. Josh Shields ran out of water since we've talked the last time, and we've had 3 other customers on Poultry Chapel Road that their wells went dry. Now, right now, they're using our water vendor to get by, and hopefully with this rain, the rain has come back. Josh is the only one I know that's hauling water right now.
Okay,
That's the 2 mile stretch on Posey Chapel Road is on top of the customers that it will help with the water pressure.
okay. All right. Do you have any funds that help out with this project?
No,
No.
no.
Did he have funds to match?
How much debt do you have?
How much debt do we have?
Net.
Debt. We've got a 40-year loan. When, in 1995, we done our second extension with Patoka Lake, coming up Valley Road out of Valley, and we ran that into Hardensburg, and that's when we also come through Millersburg, down the County Line Road, and went to West Washington School in Oklahoma. That's on that 40-year loan that we're 10 years into that. And the regional system, I think we're down to our last
About 7, 8 years on it.
7, 8 years of the first initial loan that was started, I think in 85.
And what's your payment on that per year? On the one that you got 7 or 8 years, how much, what's your payment on that a year?
I don't know that they're separate, they're all put together, right?
I can get that information. I'm really not, I don't want to guess.
I'm looking at some at retirement.
Yeah,
If you got the 40 and you're 10 years into that, but you got this one at 7 and 8, you're gonna have a debt retirement in there. Okay. What? Trying to think. What other process do they have other than a grant to help, offset? There's, Todd, do you know anything else that they could work with here? Because I mean, realistically, we haven't been funding, well, I'll put with an asterisk, projects at 100%.
I'm sure they've looked into that, and based on my experience, they're a member-owned corporation, just like East Washington, where I was involved for many years, and they're not there to make a profit. They're there to make improvements for their customers. And water companies struggle, but their hands are tied because they're not producing or treating their own water other than what they might have to treat, adding chlorine at some of the pump stations. I don't know if they do that, but it's not like, for instance, Campbellsburg, where they're self-sufficient. They've got their own wells. They're at the mercy of Patoka Water. Patoka Water raises rates, they have to raise their rates. So it's kind of like, I recall one time I knew a guy who was all excited because he was going to try to buy a bulk fuel delivery, gasoline, diesel fuel business many, many years ago. And when he found out that, long story short, he made about 5 or 6 cents a gallon because the product he had to buy, he could only charge so much. They're in the same situation, This is going to be a tough one because I know in the past 2 instances with East Washington and Pekin, we only funded 50%. I would like to spread some of this money around to our friends out in the western part of the county because I know that every day is a struggle for them. And I think in this case, I'm going to suggest that we maybe not make a decision tonight, but we ought to talk this over and seriously consider funding all of it. Because otherwise they can't do it. And they got some pressure issues, I know the poultry operation, in a perfect world, we tell our people who come online who have fine feeding operations that we would certainly prefer you had a backup system for water, but that's not always feasible. And when you've got millions and millions of birds, it's kind of a scary situation for the producer when they don't have water.
John Mead has given you recommendations, treating it such as a tax entity. You know, you're a utility, but you're a cooperative utility. He's treating it as an advertisement for bids to make it so everybody's, to do it just like the government did.
Yes.
And that's probably very advisable as far as your customers, especially when you challenge with rates.
Yes.
That goes up. And I see, if we were to do a project at 50%, this job's not going to go.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we need to take this under advisement, because this is going to be a change, in whatever we do. And I'd like to find some other alternative in there, but right now, as far as the full project, I think that's kind of a discussion that we need to have, because it will be a change.
Okay.
So your new figures, I understand your materials and may go up, and have to understand that. But we got another parameter to look at to jump on first. Anything you can do, I tell you what I would like to see, though. I would like to see your budget, your yearly budget in there. I'd like to see what this 40-year loan payment repayment is, what this 7 and 8 year, and if you can separate them so that we can see when this 7 to 8 year retirement of that is, it would be very helpful in that. So your budget should show your net revenues and your customers and that type of stuff, and that would be beneficial with us too, as far as looking at this whole project.
Okay.
Is that
When would you like that by?
next meeting,
Okay.
September? September 6th. Seven. Because we got Labor Day. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll do it that way.
Okay.
I know it's moving down, but
No,
that's a pretty sizable project here.
okay.
Okay, without any other comments, and then we'll move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Sarah. Making my wells look better all the time. Making my wells look better all the time.
Hey, Brian.
You want on the elevator?
Right here.
We had some fun with that. Okay, Sarah, if you would please state your full name and who you're representing, and then present your request.
I'm Sarah Hart. I'm here representing the Blue River Fire District. I'm the treasurer for the district. And I was requesting $15,355 for a generator. The quote that we got for the generator is for a 24 kilowatt generator, 400 amp transfer, includes the installation. And I think we was going to go with the Southern Indiana Electrical, is who that quote was from, because we tried different places, but one, I think Jones Electric, they didn't want to take on the job, and we tried one from Scottsburg, but we don't have any other backup source if we lose power, if, we have bad weather or anything, and that's what, we're just looking for a backup power source. But with this, the district, the district will cover the cost for the concrete pad, because we don't have a quote yet on the concrete pad or the protective fencing around it, but the district will cover the cost of that out of our general fund.
All right, what will, crisis situation, tornado, those type of things, power outages, and there. So will this make the fire station self-sufficient as far as all your heating and cooling and?
Yes. Because with our facilities, we have facilities, it's large enough, we could provide a triage center in case of like some kind of disaster and have emergency relief for even the community to come to get relief from whatever.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. When we did the round where every fire department got money, what was that money used for there?
We purchased a rescue truck because that's what it seems like we have a lot of medical runs that we go on, and that's what we purchased a rescue truck from with it.
A real truck, not a side-by-side or anything?
No, it's kind of like an ambulance like body truck. Okay. It's really nice.
Okay, good. And then the other thing I asked was similar to what she had asked earlier, but is this COVID?
Well, first responders the fire, and they're most likely in Brennan Township for first responders will be the first ones on the scene, whether it's an accident or health reason, heart attack or whatever. Out in our community, first responders will be the first ones there in an ambulance, from the fires.
I just was asking.
Emergency personnel, with equipment, all like that. How big is this building?
I don't even know how to say really.
How many fire engines and trucks did you put in?
We have the engine, the brush truck, the new rescue truck. We do have the like a side-by-side, the UTV they call it.
Okay.
We have quite a bit of equipment, and they do a lot of medical runs, and they're pretty well equipped for medical runs and fire both.
This is Posey's in there. Do you have another station other than this one, or is this the only one?
No,
Okay.
just the one located on Bexmill Road.
Okay. Is that down from Bexmill?
Yeah, mile and a half or 2 miles from Bexmill.
Okay. Oh,
It's a large building.
Is it not where the old community center was? That's what I
Yes.
thought.
it's a more modern building, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
This is the one that's in the corner. It's got like a corner lot. I thought that's not Howard's, is it? That's Posey. All right. All right,
It's a voting center too.
Yeah, yeah.
well,
It's just south of West Bank Smith.
Right.
yeah,
Aren't you a fire district?
Yes.
There's only 2 fire districts. It's right there when you go south.
It's a newer brick building, it's probably like 15 years old, maybe,
No,
10.
Yeah, probably 10.
On the right.
Yeah, I think it is right around 10, 2012, I think.
well, that's that, I know Ken.
I think it was a year after I first come on, I think about 13. They were building this Sam Temple, I think, built that building. And Keith Jones awarded it.
I think so. That's what, I come on as treasurer just right after they got the new building. So I wasn't there for the process of it at the beginning.
Have you been able to have any extra fund money this year, or since COVID, 2 years, that you've could spend anything on like this? I'm concerned, are other fire departments have backup generators? Okay. That's just kind of some of my concerns.
In Campbellsburg?
Maybe we need to get some more information.
All right.
So I think we need to find out some more about your funds that you have maybe, and what your,
All right, well, we've got it filed here, we've got you in there. We'll do some research ourselves on this. I would like for you to actually look at limited funds that you've had because of COVID, you know, some challenges on that. Also, how many volunteers you have there on the fire department, and you do have a fire board since you're a district.
On the volunteers, we ought to say, I think, around about 15 that's on the department.
Okay.
It fluctuates, you know, they come and go, but it's anywhere from about a dozen to sometimes I know we got 18 or 20.
Wouldn't mind seeing, since you're a district, I know you're having to keep a budget in there, so I'd like to see that previous budget for the last 2 years.
Okay.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes. It was nice to meet you.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to go back to, or you got from previous weeks, or you want to open up back into discussion?
Well, Harley handed us several things here that I had not seen before, so. I mean, they're not very long.
See, we already did that.
Why did you just give these to me?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're previous in there. Do you have an updated file of what we contributed, or they probably haven't acted on anything? Have you acted on anything? Okay.
This is what she gave
All right.
tonight, so.
Oh, is this the, okay. This is the one
Oh my gosh. We never did get anything on that stipend thing.
Has that been broken down, or is that just a rough figure out there?
Just a rough figure that the council asked to consider.
So this is from the council,
Yes, this amount occurred during budget times.
so that was the one to cover what the emergency, as far as sheriff's department and all that in there. Is that what,
It's all employees.
it's all employees? So that's a figure that come from council to consider.
Yes.
I tell you what, I'm really, this manual here, where there are certain criteria in there, and that stipend in there with that broad wand that, on that figure, and that, I think it's gonna, I think that you're gonna be really challenged on it. My bias right now is that I'm not going to give it as a recommendation in there, because I haven't heard anything about it for a while, but this is the first figure that I've seen back in it, that I know that I will deny that as far as sitting on this committee.
Absolutely.
I was asked to.
It's
put it
eligible.
in there, so I
I don't care. I don't care if it's eligible or not. I think we've got a lot of other needs that are out there in the county that need to be taken care of for that one.
Don't disagree with that,
So,
but that, it is what it is.
all right. Well, when will this thing be discussed again?
Budget time next year.
Well, it'll run out then.
It can't. It's earmarked.
Really?
Yes.
By your discretion?
At their suggestion.
Council.
I don't understand that.
We got smacked on the wrist.
What don't you understand?
Um,
Council controls the money.
Well, that's true, but then also, you're the executive in that, and this ARP money, the way I have seen it, it comes back to the commissioner's discretion in that.
What are you gonna say when they know it's an eligible?
Because
In
there's,
fact, Phil knows, that he meets with these other commissioners. What was it, 2 or 3 other counties have done it? Two of the 5 he meets with regularly, so. We're a long ways from that anyway, so.
Okay,
we could just spend all the money.
well, our job may be done early.
Yeah.
Okay, it's up to you guys in there, we don't have anything else that we're gonna present tonight. And there, other than what we presented in there, and moved towards your direction at the last meeting, that's still pending, and what we've discussed here, it's up to you what you want. I mean, the food bank, well, we approved, we've got, as far as being legitimate, and we approve that the money be used that way, but the rest of the stuff, we've got other information that's gonna come before us, before we'll make a decision on it.
Personally, I'd like to put it all on hold until we get some more information. And this is not a denial, it's just, I'd like a little more time.
Okay,
Is
But that's just me and two others.
one question I had with Posey, they got out here before I asked. So John's suggesting to them that they need another engineering group for another submittal for bids,
No, he
They
said
have to advertise.
he wanted them to advertise for
but
bids.
then he's saying if they do that, he's gotta go with another engineering group.
He's gotta go with an engineering group to set the
That
specs of the bid.
$1,500.
Can they not use the bid specs that they used on this? Because he's gonna have to waste money again.
I don't think they have any actual bid specs. I think they got a price from one or two contractors. Quotes. That's what they're.
Ryan did it himself, he went out and got the quotes himself, and now it has to be put out for bid, which means there'll be an additional
So you're gonna have
$7,500.
to have a bid sheet so that they're all bidding on the same thing.
Yes,
So that's what your legal counsel.
that's the $75,000.
Said it's 500.
7,500.
7,500, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So, which made it 700, a little over 703,000.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I struggle with that is that, what, $120,000 for engineering fees?
Well, welcome.
I know.
I will agree with Rick. I think we need some more time. Just who say? I'm waiting on you.
I'm thinking, that's right.
It's scary.
It is. We had him all day.
I agree.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but right now our meeting is over, and then so I'll look at a motion to go ahead and close our meeting for the ARP, and then they can discuss it all night if they want, so.
Make a motion to close.
All right, need a motion to close, second by
I'll
Sharon.
second it.
All in favor of that, the ARP committee, signify by saying aye. We're closed, you guys deliberate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say,
Motion to adjourn.
Vice Mayor Moore.
Second.
Rick Sarah, all in favor, say aye. Mr. Gladwin? Yeah. You said you live out on Coxbury?